And joining me in the studio to talk about Russia's political commentator and Russia expert, Nana Armstrong. And Danny, we know that Boris has currently gone to Kyiv, hasn't he? So what's he doing there?
Yeah, well, Boris Johnson's currently in Kiev. It's a surprise visit, or surprise if you weren't paying attention to the chronology of what's been happening over the past few days. And on Thursday, he was on there, he addressed their leaders in Davos, cheerleading for funding for Ukraine. Of course, he said that we need to double down on funding Ukraine. On Saturday, of course, the big expose about his funding and this £800,000 loan that was sorted out by BBC Chief. And now on Sunday, just a few hours after that breaking, he's in Kiev. He's meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky. It's a fantastic PR opportunity for him to take some of the heat off his back that's been building for the last few days. And of course, Zelensky, we know he likes his powerful political pals, his famous friends. So yeah, it's a great kind of PR opportunity for both of them. And it's great for Boris to remind people that he was the sitting Prime Minister when they had that reaction to Ukraine, the funding, the military assistance. Of course, the UK has been one of the biggest military supporters of Ukraine. And it's basically that's...
What about earlier this week when Zelensky sort of seemed to allude towards the fact that Putin is dead? Didn't he say something about that? And everyone was like, really? I mean, what was that about?
Yeah, I mean, again, we can see that Volodymyr Zelensky, he unquestionably likes to do these addresses. This was to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. He's done a similar address to the Golden Globes, the Grammys. Again, these powerful friends that he's got, these famous friends. He said that he doesn't think that Vladimir Putin, the Vladimir Putin that we see on TV screens, is actually the Russian president. He says that it could be CGI. It could be the Green Room. I mean, he'll know a little bit about that.
Well, to be honest, you know, they're very good at that, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
they're
also very good at it in Ukraine. I mean, Zelensky has showed himself to be a master of the Green Room. What I would say about Boris Johnson, just going back to him, is how it's been received, or how it will be received in Russia. When he went the last time, Sergei Narishkin, which is Russia's top spy, said that some of the negotiations that were reached in Istanbul between Russia and Ukraine Ukraine quickly reneged on some of the promises that they made in those negotiations after Boris Johnson went to see Volodymyr Zelensky.
So they don't like it when Boris goes there at all, then, do they?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the way it's being received in Russia is the fact that they will think that one of the biggest cheerleaders for funding for Ukraine has kind of twisted Volodymyr Zelensky's arm, and now he doesn't want to sit down at negotiations because cash is coming in from the West. And also justifies, we'll get it in, it also justifies the Russian pretext for the war that Russia is fighting Western-backed and a NATO-backed Ukraine.
Well, they shouldn't have started the war. I mean, what did they expect? They started the war. But can I just say, so what's going on now, though? Because there's just been a warning, there's a big update for a warning from Vladimir Putin that he's saying that he will have to use nuclear weapons. I mean, what's that about?
Well, I think at the moment there's been, of course, in winter, as was expected, as I've said to you, Nana, on this show quite a few times, that there would be a lull in action on the battlefield. As I've always said, the threat of nuclear war is much more beneficial to all sides involved, and certainly to Vladimir Putin, than actually using nuclear weapons. So I can't see that being on the table, actually using those nuclear weapons.
But that's that was the latest thing, a real update that came today.
It is always the threat of nuclear war that's much more beneficial to Russia than actually using nuclear warheads. We're actually looking forward now to, well, not looking forward, it's a terrible choice of words, but in terms of the war, we're looking towards a spring offensive when Russia regroups and is ready to launch an offensive on the battlefield.
And very, very quickly, you've got about 30 seconds with regard to these tanks. Germany are blocking people from sending the tanks.
Well, it goes against Germany's foreign policy to provide lethal aid. This is what they didn't provide when the war broke out, and this is what they were criticised for, these Leopard tanks. There was a summit in Ramstein that was supposed to bring about a decision to send these tanks. They didn't reach one. So Germany is being crucified a little bit for this decision and a lack of inaction, as it has been since the war began. But it does go against German foreign policy, of course, given World War II and given their history, that they can't send lethal aid to fund the war. So they're in a catch-22 situation, really.
Really? All right, Nana Armstrong, thank you very much. He's a political commentator.